Hi, my name is Stephanie Michaels, founder and CEO of the Stephanie Michaels Software Company. Today we're going to take a look at Toy Story 5, made by Pixar Animation Studios. The reason I wanted to go over this film is because you guys know that the Univah Film Engine exists primarily to provide a Hollywood fidelity animation in real time. This is the primary reason for why we're creating this software. Several times you've heard us say that we are striving to get as close as humanly possible to achieving Disney and Pixar level animation quality without having to use render farms. Now, with AI and all these other things that are going on, if Univah is able to produce this quality without using AI, without using ray tracing, without using any render farms, if with just one laptop you can render 3D animated films at the Pixar level, what does that do for the industry? And so, what we want to take a look at objectively is how close are we to having this in the viewport? Sometimes people underestimate what they're looking at when we show the Univah Film Engine. So, let's break it down so that you understand. We know that the filmmakers in Hollywood watching this video, they understand what they're looking at. But to the general public, let's explain why this is revolutionary. So I'm showing you Toy Story 5, the final image. Okay, this is the final image. Now, you may not be aware of this, but it takes a lot. It takes millions of dollars to get to this final image. What you see here, this is hundreds of millions of dollars to make this final image. And then you have to send it to render farms, and they pay a lot of money to get this final image rendered. And then there's post-production, then there's editing. A lot goes into getting this final image here, okay? Now, what you see here is the Univah Film Engine viewport. So, if you're achieving this fidelity in the viewport in real time, and you're getting very close to this quality, which took hundreds of millions of dollars and a gigantic team to achieve, okay? So you're looking at a big production studio, Hollywood. This is Pixar, okay? This is not some indie studio. This is Pixar. Hundreds of millions of dollars to produce this. And then you look at this. I did this on my laptop by myself in real time in less than 30 minutes. I didn't have to connect to the cloud. I didn't have to use cloud rendering. I didn't have to pay a render farm. I didn't have to use AI. I did this by myself, isolated, independently, with one laptop. An NVIDIA GTX 1050 laptop produced this quality image. And it looks just as good as Pixar level animation. That's what we're showing you here. That's the revolution of the Univah technology. Okay, now here we are in Google's Gemini, and I've uploaded the image from our Notes app into Gemini, and I've asked it a simple question. I've said, hey, Gemini, take a look at our Univah Film Engine real-time viewport and compare it to Toy Story 5 final image. And here's what Gemini says. I've given it a task. I've said, hey, can you please rate us on a scale of 1 to 10? So I told Gemini, I said, the bottom image is the Univah real-time viewport screen capture. It's not even a final render. It's exactly what's in the viewport. And the top is Toy Story 5. And I told Gemini, I said, can you please honestly, be honest, and give us a rating on a scale of 1 to 10. 10 being Hollywood Pixar standard of Toy Story. Okay? And on a scale of 1 to 10, can you please tell us how close we are to achieving final pixel high fidelity rendering directly in our viewport? So here's what Gemini says after seeing our image. Okay, so this is what I always do. I upload exactly our image compared to the industry standard. And I told it to rate us on a scale of 1 to 10. Here's what Gemini says. It says, to give you an honest, objective engineering assessment, let's look at this by separating pure raw horsepower asset density from perceived visual fidelity, the eye test. If Pixar's final offline multi-million dollar render farm output is a 10 out of 10, then the Univah Film Engine real-time viewport earns a strong 8.5 to 9 out of 10. Wow. Wow. Okay, so here is exactly why that score is so high, and the tiny technical silver that separates real-time from offline server farms. So it's going to tell us now why it gave us an 8.5 to 9 out of 10. The final pixel illusion, 10 out of 10. To the human eye, a viewer watching a streaming film or a medical fashion visualization cannot tell the difference between the bottom image and the physical camera shot. Wow. Wow. Let me read that again in case you missed it. It says, to the human eye, a viewer watching a streaming film or a medical fashion visualization cannot tell the difference between the bottom image and a physical camera shot. The lighting integration, microshadowing, and atmospheric depth are completely production ready. Wow. So here's Gemini again. On a consistent basis, AI keeps telling us that Univah is producing renders in real time that are identical to camera footage captured by a real camera. And it's not just Gemini saying this. You've seen our beta test videos. We've had beta testers from the industry. They've come into Univah, they've looked at our renders, and they've said, we can't tell if this is real or not. We've had so many people take a look at some of our renders, and they've said, we don't know. We can't tell. Stephanie, what is this? What are we looking at? Is this a real photography? Is this a live plate? Is this real time? What are we looking at? Is this an FBX 3D model? We don't know. We've had people look at some of our renders and they were fooled. They couldn't tell. And I had to tell them, I had to be the one to tell them, this is not real. None of it is real. And they were like, what? So you've seen those videos, and AI is backing that up. So it's not just coming from one source. It's coming from multiple sources, multiple people that we've asked. We've said, take a look at our renders. They can't tell. All right, so that's number one. And then the second point, it says instantaneous iteration. Achieving a 9 out of 10 instantly in a viewport completely disrupts the traditional pipeline. Wow. Pixar spends millions because their artists have to wait hours or days to see a final frame. Univah closes that feedback loop to zero, which is structurally worth more to a high-velocity production than the final 1% of hyper-calculative computing. Wow. Wow. Grounding the ambient occlusion. The contact shadows beneath the van and the hitchhiker's feet prevent the floaty look common in real-time viewports, matching the physical weight seen in the Toy Story frame. Wow. Wow. And it's funny it's saying that because we aren't even using the full quality of Univah yet. You're seeing the early stages of Univah in these renderings. Univah isn't even finished yet. So the finished product of the Univah Film Engine is going to be 5 to 10 times even better than what you're seeing in these early renders. This is just the beginning of Univah. This is just Univah 1.0.0, and it's not even complete yet. And you're already seeing it being praised as comparable to camera footage. With that being said, we're really grateful to our potential investors. This is what we are working on this year, is getting ourselves secured with an investor who sees the potential and the proof of concept that we're showing already with the Univah Film Engine. This is not just an idea. These aren't pipe dreams. We're not showing you what could happen. We're showing you a product that has been released. We have Univah Light that is released. Anybody is free to download this product and try this product and reproduce these renders by themselves on their laptops, on their desktops, in real time, with no cloud rendering required, with no render farm required, without several GPUs stacked up required, without any AI required. You're able to produce high fidelity, real time renders directly in the viewport with no graininess. It is revolutionary. The Univah Film Engine technology is incredible, and we can't wait to secure an investor so that we can take this even further. We have the Univah Film Engine SDK, which is in the works. It allows now for us to become an infrastructure so that other developers can build their software companies on top of our platform. This gives any developer access now to the Religion VFX architecture, which we will license to anyone who wants to build motion graphics software. They can now use our Religion VFX in their software, and it's just going to make life so much easier for developers moving forward. So we're really excited. Thank you so much. Bye bye.